I'm Marcus Blake with That Nerd Show, and we are here with Steve Lemme and Kevin Heffernan from the Broken Lizard Club and Super Troopers and Beer Fest, and we're going to be talking about their new show, Tacoma FD.
Yeah, into the lightsaber mic.
That's right.
Because that's how we roll here.
That's how we roll.
The force is with us.
All right.
So done.
So I had a chance to watch the 3 episodes they gave
good.
us.
Okay.
Couldn't stop laughing.
Oh, good. All right, that's a good thing.
So already off to a good start there.
Good.
And our first question, why are fire department?
Why fire department?
Yeah.
Well, you know, like the blatant, simple answer is we wanted to do Super Troopers in another location.
Right.
So the idea was, you know, where else can you wear the mustaches and have uniforms and then screw around? And so we decided we'd be firefighters in the rainiest city in the country.
We were going to ask that. That's kind of interesting that you picked Tacoma, because we read that it's the wettest city in America.
Yeah.
And
Well, we kind of, we walked it backwards a little bit. We thought Super Troopers are Super Troopers because they have some boredom issues, some time on their hands. And we thought, well, how is it that firefighters can have some extra time on their hands? We thought the rainiest city in the country, so why not Tacoma, Washington? Although, as I understand it, Florida is actually the rainiest state in the country.
but
Tacoma, Washington doesn't like to be, categorized as that either. So our apologies to Tacoma, Washington.
Yeah, but here's the truth is though, we want to make it clear that our guys are not bumbling firefighters. They're actually great firefighters.
Right.
Firefighters are always prepared. Their station's always, clean, up to code. They're ready to go. And so our guys are that, but they have some downtime, and they like to mess around with each other. Yeah.
I think the second episode is probably going to be my favorite. The
Good.
one titled Cop Wars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but you brought up that you wanted to make another Super Troopers in a way. Was that intentional, or is it just kind of joking because you know that it'll be compared to that?
No, I mean, we knew it would compare to that. We knew it would be. And we know there are certain things that our fans like and that they want to see. And, so that was definitely in our mind. But at the same time, it was like, I have a lot of family who are firefighters.
Oh, okay.
And, we have friends who are firefighters, and they're always like, firefighters are much funnier than cops are.
Right.
And we could tell you the really great stories. And so we started heading on that road, and as we talked to firefighters, every firefighter has like 15 great stories of some ridiculous thing that they've done or some call they've been on. And we just started putting the stories together, and it just became clear that there's so much material, and it was a good way to go.
Now, since you brought that up, I have to ask, and this is a little bit of a spoiler, so we're not going to release the interview until right before, but the incident with the woman breaking into her boyfriend's house.
Correct.
That is based off a real incident?
That's a true story.
It is a true story.
Okay.
And in the true version of the story, the woman broke in. I don't want to give anything away.
Right.
She didn't. In our episode, she does something else to the car. In real life, she actually sold the car and had it shipped, I think, down to Florida immediately. So the guy returned home, his car was just gone. And he found out it had been legally sold to somebody in Florida.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, these firefighters, from the chief on down to the rookie, they all have incredible stories, whether it's hazing or just playing pranks on the other guys. Or it's these absurd things that they come across.
We just try to put them all in there. Like out of the first 3 episodes, most of those are true. Mouth to mouth to a cat. That's another true story they told us. They're just all these ridiculous stories, and they're you couldn't make them up. They're true.
Yeah. You get the Station Olympics. The Jaws of Life Jenga is something that firefighters actually do.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
We didn't make that stuff up. We're not that creative. We're not that good.
Well, I beg to differ, but okay. Does it feel a little bit weird being old enough to have someone play your daughter in a TV show? We interviewed Hassie Harrison last year over
you did?
about the Iron Orchard film she was in.
Oh, yeah, right.
So she's a Dallas girl.
Yeah.
No, it's great. It's funny because I have daughters. They're not as old as Hassie is, but they're teenagers.
Right.
And so it's really not that far off. Like, it is definitely weird, like Farva. The idea was Farva as the chief in the fire station, and then Farva has daughters, and then you're like, wow, that's a weird thing too.
It's a little heady because it's like when we made Super Troopers, we had Brian Cox is the patriarch essentially. He's the man in charge, and here we are doing this, and we're like, I guess that's us. I guess we're the old guys now. So like,
it's come full circle.
So we cast some young people in there, and I mean, like Hassie could be his daughter.
She definitely could.
And then some.
That's right. That's right.
Well, like I said, I just thought that was kind of interesting and having that dynamic. Now, do you know any firefighters that have had to deal with a daughter coming onto the job at the same firehouse?
We haven't, but it's funny because the guy who was helping us the most was my cousin, who's a firefighter for 25 years, and he came out to the writer's room with us, and he came to the set and shot with us, and helped us make it feel accurate. And at the same time that he was going through it, his station got their first female firefighter. It wasn't anyone's relative, but
right.
But I mean, the funny thing was when you talk to firefighters, it still is that world where there's 97% male firefighter.
Right.
So it's an old boys club.
3% female.
That's right. 3%.
Really?
3%.
I didn't even realize
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And so when you talk to them, that's like a big thing. And so this fire station was getting their first female firefighter as we were going through the same process, and so he was able to share stories with us. But so it is kind of a true thing, the effect that women have on the fire station.
And it's
Right.
it's unintentional. It's not like they were trying to keep women out or anything like that. It just, I guess, had the appearance of a very male job.
Right.
And so these stations just had the one bathroom, the men's room, and the men's shower.
Now, I know you can't give away too much spoilers, but can you at least elaborate a little bit how that dynamic might be throughout the show? Because you've only gotten to really just 2 episodes that we've seen so
You mean
far.
in terms of a female firefighter? In the
Yeah,
station?
with her as your daughter.
It's pretty prominent. I mean, that was one of the premises that we came up with to be the through line through the whole episode. Was that what would happen if a woman came into your station and you couldn't turn your back on her necessarily because she was your daughter? And fire stations are like that in the sense that it's a very family kind of feeling. They're brothers and uncles and cousins and whatever, and they all spend this in the 24 hours in the station together and that kind of stuff. And so we do deal with that. That was what we wanted to deal with. So as the episodes go on in the season, more and more kind of things happen with her getting involved.
Yeah,
as
and
we
it's
go
also
along.
like, she's the rookie.
Right.
And so there are traditions to hazing the rookies, and so we like the tension it created. Do you haze this particular rookie? She is the daughter of the fire chief. The son of the fire chief will get hazed relentlessly. In fact, my father in the show is the fire commissioner, so we talk about that stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
That's backstory. That's backstory. but
you don't know that yet.
Yeah.
So then the question is like, if you don't haze her, is that being sexist?
Right.
So shouldn't you haze her just the way you hazed everybody else? But then you've got this guy.
Well, I think it's going to be funny to see as she goes along in her character development that she can hold her own.
Yeah.
She already been able to prove that in just a couple of episodes that we've seen.
And she really does. She really becomes like one of the team and gives as good as she gets as we move forward.
Well, that was the great thing about Hassie was that we had a tough time casting that role because we had a lot of very loud, obnoxious guys. The 2 of us and then the 3 other actors. And Hassie came in and we did like a chemistry read where she had to come in with all 5 of us and read her lines. And with true Texas attitude, she put her foot up on a stool.
It's funny. I have to compliment her. We were trying to ask her very serious, film questions about the Iron Orchard and her role in that movie, and she pulled no punches, just held her own, went toe to toe with us. Like, yeah, you're good. We're a fan of you now.
That's good.
Now, I noticed one particular very nerdy reference in the first episode of the Empire Strikes Back line, and that made me about fall out of my recliner.
Yeah.
So
we have a couple of those coming up in the season.
All right.
Just,
So you know where I'm going with this
Easter
line of
eggs.
questioning.
Yeah.
So kind of intentional to throw in some nerd references.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, it's funny because episode 3 with Hassie is A New Hope.
I saw the title.
And I guess episode 2 is Cop Wars. Jeez, it's all about it.
And we have like this, and then there's a lot of I guess I'm not giving anything away, but episode 7, one of our big guest stars is Joanna Cassidy, and there are a few Blade Runner jokes in there. Yeah,
Sure.
so.
Episode 9, it's not necessarily sci-fi or nerdy, but we do a lot of Mr. Miyagi and Rocky. A hint of $6 Million Man.
Sure.
And
Indiana Jones too.
And Indiana Jones in episode 8.
We got you. You're in, man.
You're our guy.
You're in.
You're our guy.
There was a part of me that was wondering, are they just throwing those references in there for the nerdy guys to see if they'll pick them up?
Yeah.
Kind of like, Ready Player One came out last year with all these pop culture references.
Yeah.
So, now, your intention with this show, I know it's a comedy, but you're really paying tribute to firefighters and just everything that they have to go through.
Yeah.
So, are you wanting to show all sides of it?
Yeah.
With their job?
Like I was saying, with Super Troopers, we were viewed always as 5 bumbling highway patrollers.
Right.
And we didn't want that to be the case with this show. We didn't want firefighters to think we were disrespecting them. We certainly didn't want the Tacoma firefighters to think we were singling them out as being bumbling. And so we really try to focus on the fact these guys are good firefighters, but then there is this time in the station, your 24-hour shift, where you're living with each other, and these ridiculous calls that all firefighters always go on. And that's what we're focusing on. And once a season, we fight a fire.
Nice. Nice.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now at that nerd show, we like to ask some very nerdy questions.
Okay.
All right. So we have two with two different categories. The first one is, all kind of growing up 70s and 80s and 90s and stuff. I'm assuming you've played your fair share of classic video games.
Yeah.
Okay. We want to know, because we have a new show called Inside the Gaming Lounge, we want to know what your favorite classic video game is, whether it's console or arcade. And we'll start with you, Steve.
Well,
Let me just preface this
Okay.
with something. Is that this guy right here, one of the great video game players of all time.
Oh, okay.
And in the classic arcade games. And what's your nickname?
my nickname, you tell him.
Joystick. That's always been his
Yes.
nickname. And so, me, I don't really hold a candle to that. I definitely played my fair share of Joust and Defender.
Well, so here, now what he's just mentioned are the Williams video games.
Okay.
So Williams was the company that made Defender and Joust and Stargate, and also Robotron 2084, which is a double joystick game.
Right.
Which I actually have. I have the stand-up game in my house.
Nice. All right. You've earned
He's
your
the
nerd
greatest
cred.
Robotron player you've ever seen in your
I'm
life.
the greatest Robotron player on the planet. I challenge anybody to Robotron. I am the greatest.
The gauntlet has
Robotron
been
player
thrown on this interview.
The planet.
Jeez. Okay.
All right. God, we haven't even talked about that in our.
I go
classic
between
game.
galaxies and burn that shit down.
Nice. How about you? Classic video.
No, yeah, I was never, I was like the Centipede and Joust, those kind of games.
Good games.
Yeah.
I never graduated beyond that. I don't feel like, you know what I mean?
To be fair, it's a difficult question because there are so many great video
Right.
games in our generation. It was also the technology was just developing. So you had your regular Atari,
Sure.
and then of course you had your Apple II games like Wizardry, which I was a big Wizardry fan. As Dungeons and Dragons, the first one on the computer with graphics, and you had your
remember
co-op
that.
games and your Zaxxons and your Tempests.
Nice.
Your Burger Times, your simpler games, your Dragon's Lair with your animated video game.
We were talking about Burger Time not too long ago because it's on our little NES.
We're good.
We're
thank you.
good. All right.
Thank
You
you.
got
We keep talking about video games. We're definitely going to have to
It's
get some
authentic
beer.
right there.
But anyway, it's the little NES classic I have with 500 games on the hard drive. Burger Time is on there,
Okay.
and I had to introduce my nephew to it. So
Okay.
yeah.
And how about you? What's your favorite?
Double Dragon.
Double Dragon.
Yeah, we did our
The karate
pilot.
game.
Yes, we did our pilot episode of Inside the Gaming Lounge 2 weeks ago, and that was our favorite. That was our featured classic game from
Okay.
arcade to the NES.
And what do you do? Do you have someone who's like, you really good at it?
No,
You sit down and
I'm
play it or
really
no?
not, but we do actually show people playing
Okay.
in the episode.
Yeah.
So we have a little TV on set
Yeah.
with everything, and it shows a couple people playing while we're narrating.
If you want to do Robotron,
Yeah.
this is your guy. This is your guy.
I'm good at a lot of video games.
So, all right. The last nerdy question, and we ask all of our filmmakers
Okay.
this. If you could have a weapon of choice or superpower from the nerd universe to fight the forces of evil, what would it be for you?
I was always a flight guy.
You'd want to fly?
Yeah, flight was always the thing. I prefer that. I like that.
You'd like to fly?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't like public transportation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I gotta say the all-time greatest one is from Defender. It's the smart bomb.
Oh, really?
Ah.
When you're in the shit, just pow, everything eviscerated. It's like snapping your fingers.
Right. Like an EMP.
Yeah, very, very Thanos reference there.
See that shit? The snap.
Those are fantastic answers.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you very much for interviewing with us. Can't wait to see the rest of the series. So far, it is absolutely hilarious.
Correct. Thank you.
so
So,
much.
Thanks
and
for having us.
TruTV, as the rep is standing over there, we
Yeah.
need a season 2 and 3 beyond that.
Let's
You hear
hope.
that?
Yeah.
You hear that?
Let's hope.
Season
We're-
2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just throwing it out there.
Okay.
Kathleen is green lighting now.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Kathleen.